The American people do not like neutrality. They would rather a man were on the wrong side than on neither. Robert Greene Ingersoll.
Inconceivable!
Will you please act like you have more than a 2-word vocabulary?
Is there air? You don't know!
And now, a yak.
Yakk! Yeah.
Hey, don't touch that dial. You found Secular Yakking.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Amy.
After years,
No, many years of yakking at each other.
we're here to yak at you.
So sit back and enjoy the yakking.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful week.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. You don't know if you had a wonderful
No,
week?
I wouldn't say wonderful, no. Wasn't horrendous, wasn't terrible, but not wonderful.
All right, it was just a week.
Maybe somebody out there had a wonderful week,
I'm
so
sure
that
somebody
would be
did.
nice. Somebody's got to.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes.
None.
Oh,
We
okay.
have no new Twitterers this week.
No tweets.
Very disappointed.
Okay.
We should at least have one.
Okay. If you
All right.
say so.
I guess I need to get back on the Twitters and start insulting people or something.
Oh, well, that's the way to do it.
Well, that's, I guess.
Uh-huh. If you say so.
All right.
Yes, dear.
Okay.
What?
I was on Ask an Atheist this weekend.
Right.
We talked about a lot of cool stuff.
Now, is Ask an Atheist a pod show or a radio show?
They are both.
Oh, okay. See, that's what I was thinking.
Well, see, Sam started a radio station, I think.
Uh-huh.
And so he broadcast over that. And then he's also a podcast.
Yeah, he used to be all radio, and then I know he was dabbling with podcasts, but I was thinking it was both, but I wasn't sure.
Well, hell, it used to be a YouTube. Actually, it used to be a TV show.
Oh, really?
Back in the years of Scan TV in Seattle, like 7-8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
When they had public access TV.
Wow, they've been doing it that long?
Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, so I had a great time on the show. I'm a sometimes host on the show, been a guest several times.
Uh-huh.
The first time I've been on about like a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been a while, I know that.
Yeah. And Sam and I had a really nice discussion about the status of the original Motto project, which we'll get into a little later in the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But first,
Yes, dear.
we did get some voicemails again.
Oh,
2 weeks in a
okay.
row.
You're on a roll.
Yeah, so we'll start with Melange Hunter from the Twitters.
From the Twitters?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, you wonderful people, you.
Wrong.
I was going to say, I don't think that's how it's supposed to
No,
start.
let's try Melange Hunter, actually.
I was like, I don't think so.
Let's try that again.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's Melange Hunter here. I actually was watching Carl, or Sarkon of Cod, about 1 year before the 2016 elections. I mainly stopped watching him due to the fact that he was actually supporting Donald Trump's election, even though there's other more eligible candidates other than Hillary. But I did not agree when he did tweet out that hashtag anti-rape jokes tweet to the PM, and I just was questioning his morals around that time. Even though I am anti-SJW, I still support some trans rights, equal pay for men and women, and women's rights to choose with themselves. Just a lot of the stuff that the feminism and the rest of the groups are doing, I just do not agree with and do not view myself as an SJW due to that. I do support men's rights as well. Like a lot of men nowadays have been losing custody or visitation of their kids because of what some of the people that are on helping the women with the divorce, if there's kids involved, to say he was hitting the kids or anything just to make sure that he gets no visitation. I did try and find the video about that particular tweet, but it looks like YouTube did take it down. And if you do want to have a conversation about this, I'm willing to open up, because I'm far, far down this rabbit hole to turn back now. Anyways, great podcast, guys. Keep it going. Bye-bye.
All right, so that was a good voicemail.
Yeah, we actually, I was going to say we had more feedback on our episode. It's weird to get voicemail from our previous episode, to actually hear feedback and stuff because you only get it so often.
Yeah. We also got one from Jonathan Ariola again.
Well, and real quick before you do that, and to have someone who kind of already had a heads up on what we talked about, some some information on it and everything. So I was just
okay. Well, thanks, Raj, for that voicemail.
Really? Were you forgetting the word?
Yeah,
You're looking at me like, what's the word? Voicemail? Yeah. No, that ain't it.
Anyway, we'll do Jonathan Ariola. He's got some language in here, so if you object, fast forward 3 minutes.
Okay.
Hello, you wonderful people, you. This is Jonathan Ariola again. Hi. So, with the whole Sagoni of Pottery, or however you pronounce that lovely name, well, we can agree he's kind of a douchebag. When it comes to the whole, I'm so disappointed in the movement thing, which I've heard not just you, myself, and other people have said about the movement at large. It is disheartening. And honestly, it does remind me a bit of the disparities between the different leaders of the Black Rights Movement versus, say, like the Black Panthers movement, and people who take very different stances when it comes to how do you properly protest this. And it even ties into the old punch a Nazi argument. I know, I'm tired of it too. A lot of it keeps coming up, so shit. But that disparity, that difference between what you think is the best way to handle these situations and methodology, even within the Black Panther versus Black Rights, well, technically it's Black Rights, but the peaceful protest, Martin Luther King, that kind of thing, it seems as though that we just have a serious disagreement in how things are done. But that's only if you look at the efficaciousness and the methodology on how we're supposed to do it. But in this particular case, it's that, well, you've got this guy who's like, rape and stuff and joke, which in some aspect is fun and dandy, I suppose, but when you're actually like, hey, I was raped, and you're like, fuck you, you should have, horrible statement after this, make you feel terrible. That's disappointing, isn't it? It's disappointing. But it reminds me that out of all of these situations that, it's why I lean really heavily on the spacious, we used to call it spacious, but spacious, acronym, because the rainbow, which all of our atheistic and secular and all that other shit kind of packs together, it just describes an individual thought process. So you're a skeptic, you're a Pastafarian, you're atheist, anti-theist, secular, humanist, and Satanist. Those aren't one person. I guess they could be. That'd be kind of odd. But still, you've got all those different characteristics of someone's thought as far as all this stuff is concerned. And I would call these guys an anti-humanist, if that makes sense, or an ahumanist. Yes, I know I shouldn't label people. I understand that. But it just seems so antithetical to the whole concept of each human being has their own volition and an understanding. And if I'm saying that you now matter less because you're a female, then that's very an anti-humanist mode to take, or an ahumanist being without humanism. So maybe an ahumanist, if that makes any sense, describe some of these people, because that's what it seems to fit into that category. It's not that they might be strictly against humanism, but...
And that's where our time limit stops on our voicemail.
I was going to say, didn't it cut out right then?
Yeah, it cuts out. So,
yeah.
Word to the wise, 3 minutes.
So also for anyone who does call in, and leave a voicemail, we usually obviously put it on the show. And if you don't want it on the show, just mention that in the
just let us know.
voicemail. Because this one over here keeps putting it all on. And I'm thinking, what if they don't want it on the show? So just a heads up, if anybody doesn't want it on the show, just mention that and make sure this one doesn't put it on there.
Anyway.
I'm just saying.
If you like listening to Jonathan Ariola, because I know I do, you can catch his podcast at Too Deep, Too Fast, or TDTF pod.
Sure?
TDTF pod.
Yeah.
I'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, then I'm pretty sure he's good with being on the show.
Oh, yeah. All right, I guess we'll move on to some news-like items.
Okie dokie doke.
So I guess the first thing we need to talk about is the original model project.
Okay.
So I have decided, or we have decided,
we,
as in the team,
I was going to say, not really me.
That we're taking a break.
Yeah.
We've decided, we thought about it, and due to lack of community support and just the way that the community is going right now, I don't think they're ready for the sort of compromises that we need to make in order to make the original model work.
Well, and I'm not part of that team. I'm just a sideline on that one. But I thought it was a pretty good idea, only because the way, besides like what you just said as far as support and blah, blah, blah. But I think a lot of it has to do with everything that's kind of going on in America right now is kind of, I think, part of that problem.
Right. I'm working on an actual post on the Original Motto website.
Oh, okay.
I'm having Tom go over what I wrote and make sure it's all grammatically correct and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And have him, clean it up a bit and see how it looks. But hopefully that'll be up soon. And it'll give a little more explanation as to why and how. And, we'll be back when we're needed.
And you also talked about it on Ask an Atheist, right?
I talked about it on the third segment of Ask an Atheist.
Oh, okay.
This weekend. So
okay.
That starts around 40 minutes, 39, 40 minutes.
That's when it starts in the segment?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I think it's probably a pretty good idea. And then when you come back, it'll be all fresh and,
yeah.
I
mean, I'm not going to stop looking for them. I'm just not going to look as hard.
Right.
So.
Well, sometimes they say you work better when you step away from something for a while and come back to it.
Yep.
So I think it's a good idea.
All right, I have other news.
Yes.
Fox News suggests Las Vegas shooter may have been an atheist.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Fox News host thinks she might have figured out the motive behind the Las Vegas shooting, which is
just atheism.
Just atheism, yes.
That
Fox
makes sense.
and Friends News Ainsley Earhart told viewers that gunman Stephen Paddock may have, quote, had a problem with the faith of God-loving country music fans and used that as a deciding factor for the location of his rampage, which he killed 58 people.
And where did she get this idea from, or did she just pop this in her head?
Well, his brother said he didn't believe in God or didn't have a God or didn't have faith in his life. So maybe, this is all speculation, this is all a quote from her.
Uh-huh.
But that possible could be the reason.
That was her English?
That was her English.
That possible?
Yeah. Let me clear this up for her. Uh-huh. The brother did not say he doesn't believe in God or he didn't have faith. He said he wasn't a religious person.
Oh, and this is how
he literally said he didn't have any religious or political affiliations.
Oh, okay.
He didn't say he was an atheist. He didn't say he was a Christian. He just said he was not affiliated.
Right.
So to jump to this conclusion is a little much.
It's a pretty big stretch because you have a lot of Americans who are, quote, God-fearing, but yet they don't practice anything. They just believe in God, but, so what? I don't go to church, but yeah, I think there's a God.
Well, she also
it kind of sounded like that's where she took that to me.
Yeah.
I mean, she stretched that one.
Yeah, she also said he knows country musicians or country music fans are normally pro-God and go to church on Sundays. Maybe he has a problem with that or had a problem with that.
Wow, so she's basically saying that the whole reason for him doing this, which I'm assuming he kind of had planned for a while, was just to get at people who don't believe in God? Or,
yeah.
I mean, believe in God, is what I meant.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, which was interesting because that little theory she had was followed by 5 seconds of complete silence.
Even
like the
from
other
people
host,
on Fox?
Yeah, the other hosts would just seem to be completely dumbfounded by this statement.
They're all sitting there thinking, oh shit, oops, I'm not supposed to
I'll
say
put
that.
on this one.
But that's what I was thinking. They're all like, oh my God, what did she just do? Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they were thinking. And then she's like, okay, you don't want to weigh in on that. All right, stay silent. Who wants to agree with that? Anywhere. Unless you're Alex Jones.
Well, first of all, you don't put out what your, assumption of what caused it is. You wait till there's evidence pointing towards it. You don't just full on and pull something out of your ass.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what she did.
You can make some assumptions, but they need to be based on something.
Facts. Any
factual,
facts.
Right?
Some facts.
And the fact is, atheists tend not to be mass murderers.
Well, no, they don't. But still, regardless of, that's a pretty big.
That's a huge leap.
I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to, but I'm drawing a complete blank. But I know there's good ones out there.
You cannot.
No, I meant as far as the insaneness. There's clouds in the sky, so there's going to be an asteroid hit the planet. I mean,
that's about the level
weird.
Of insane that is.
That's what I'm saying.
This is Alex Jones level insane.
Yeah, I mean, boy, all the people on Fox getting silent after she said that.
Yeah, Brian Kilmeade. Yeah, I could see him getting silent because he's kind of iffy. He's not super smart, but he's not an idiot. And Steve Ducey, he's pretty much as anti-atheist as you can get. And even he doesn't believe this crap.
Well, I'm sure all they're thinking is, oh boy, the headlines tomorrow. or in a few minutes, actually, because that's how our news runs now.
Yeah. Just the sheer insanity of that.
And just kind of, in my opinion, the audacity to go ahead and presume something that she knows nothing about it is extremely inappropriate.
It is.
Regardless of what she had to say about it.
Yeah.
Without any facts, you should just keep your damn mouth shut.
Pretty much.
But that's just my opinion.
Have y'all ever wondered what it's like to be a redneck with empathy? Have you never heard of a Southerner who isn't a blathering bigot? Well, have I got the show for you. It's the Podunk Polymath podcast, hosted by myself, Chris, and it's the sentiments of a secular, sarcastic, screwed-up Southern SJW and skeptic. You can find me and the show on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, or your favorite podcatcher. Y'all stop on by and take it easy now, okay?
All right, I got another story for you.
Okay.
Pastor vows to destroy Satanist display in Boca Raton Park.
We're back to that again.
Yeah. This holiday...
Oh, no. Is the holidays coming?
Yeah, it's not even here, but the controversy and the war has already begun.
Oh, man.
A school teacher plans to put up a holiday display honoring Satan in a city park in Boca Raton. One pastor's already vowing to tear it down.
They have an issue with Satanists doing anything, don't they?
The quote, "In essence, they're putting up a welcome mat for Satan," said Pastor Mark Boykin, senior pastor at Church of All Nations in Boca Raton. Mm-hmm. He is astounded that Boca Raton is going to let a teacher put up a 6-foot-tall pentagram painted blood red with a wooden image of the holy symbol of Satan in the middle of it.
And where's this was going again?
Boca Raton, Florida.
No. I meant
in a city park.
In a city. Okay, that's what I was wanting to know.
Where they already have Christmas displays.
Right.
And
so this
like
is
that.
Going along with that,
Yes.
is what you're saying.
So the city says, we can't say no to this. As offensive as it is, our lawyer said, whatever you do, don't do that. Because it would be an expensive lawsuit.
Well, at least somebody's got their head on straight.
Yeah. A giant metal pentagram weighing 300 pounds with the caption, "In Satan We Trust," in one nation under Antichrist, and "May the children hail Satan." Smith refers to himself as an atheistic Satanist in the application he submitted to the city.
So, I actually think it's kind of cool.
I do too. I love when the Satanists do this stuff.
They are just rolling with that, aren't they?
I love when they just poke the religious privilege in the eye. And
so
say,
are they
look,
actually going to put that up? That
he's already built it.
300-pound thing? Wow.
It's already built and already done.
And then it'll go up on the park with all the other holiday thingy-jiggies.
Yep.
I'm all for it, because if you have one, you have them all. Otherwise, you have none.
So the Boca Raton Mayor, Susan Haney, said, "I find this extremely offensive, but, again, we've chosen as a council to honor free speech."
Wow, I could totally dig that.
Yeah. But Pastor Boykin, he says, "It's evil. It's the essence of evil. I will take responsibility for taking the sledgehammer and knocking it down."
Well, when something happens to it, we know who to turn to.
Exactly.
Dummy.
The pentagram and Freedom from Religion nativity scene will be on display at Sanborn Square on Federal Highway in Boca Raton, December 1st through January 6th.
I have an issue with this, because what I don't understand, their words. The words up on a display, are they so weak in their faith that they can't handle just words?
Absolutely.
They
believe in
come
magic.
on.
Seriously, they believe in magic.
But
they say they don't believe in magic, but they believe in magical incantations.
But they are supposed to be so into their belief system and their gods and what have you, and get everybody else on this bandwagon. But yet they can't handle when someone has something different than them to say, or polar opposite of them, and they just go absolute apeshit. Yeah. I don't get it. To me, that just shows weakness in their faith.
These are the same people who believe prayer works.
Obviously not, because they're weak when it comes to words hurting them. Because if they say power in prayer, meaning the words have, for them, their belief is good and blah, blah, blah. But how can their prayer be very strong if they can't handle someone just displaying or saying words to them?
Right.
Their faith should, their belief in their faith should be, that doesn't bother me because I'm stronger than that.
Exactly.
That's just how I see it.
That's what it should be, but that's not what it is. They don't want to see any other representation of anything else. It's only their viewpoint that gets
No, I understand that. I get that. But to me, the way I see it first and foremost is that's a weakness on their part.
It's a huge weakness.
Which is a counter to what they're saying when they try to get everyone to come, be with them, or this didn't work out for you because you weren't praying hard enough or you weren't strong enough in your faith. But yet they can't handle when someone puts up a billboard about, atheists are good people too, kind of a thing. They freak out at that.
Yeah, they can't even handle that.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just how I see it.
Their God must be fairly weak if it can't handle a little bit of insult.
Well, just look what it says. You can't worship any other gods than me or something like that. I mean, it's like, hello, what difference should it make?
It is a death cult, which is petty and jealous.
Yes.
That's what it is.
It's very petty. And as a god, shouldn't he not be jealous? I mean, I know you're trying to push buttons here, but think about that. He's a god. Shouldn't a god not really have big emotions like that? I guess that's my idea of a god.
All gods throughout time have had the same failings of the society that created it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's the whole point.
Idea of a god should be a god who doesn't hold those kind of emotions.
Right. And an omnipotent, omniscient God would have zero emotions because otherwise it couldn't be omniscient or omnipotent.
Right. So proves, in my eyes...
So blasphemy is literally a victimless crime because you can't blaspheme an omnipotent, omnipotent being. They wouldn't care.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. In my eyes, that's why, to me, all this Bible and all religions, any religion, is always man-made crap.
Right.
Because it always humanizes their God, I guess, for lack of words.
Absolutely.
Because if it was a true God in my idea of one, I guess, there wouldn't be an emotional rule book that goes with it.
Right.
They could care less.
I know.
Anyways, just jabbering.
I am an old man, and most people hate me, but I don't like them either, so that makes it all even.
Potter.
Yeah, Mr. Potter Award.
Mm-hmm.
This week we have a Mr. Potter winner that we've talked about several times and has been in the running for the award many, many more times.
Why do we keep coming back to these repeat offenders?
Well, this guy hasn't had a Potter Award yet.
Oh, okay.
But he's been a nominee several times.
Oh, okay.
And that would be Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin.
Okay.
And he finally has his DiCaprio moment by winning the Potter Award. Nominated several times.
I know.
Finally won.
That's pretty sad, babe.
I know. He came to my attention this week when he used his position as governor to encourage students in Kentucky to bring their Bibles to school on Thursday for student-led initiative called Bring Your Bible to School Day.
That sentence is wrong.
Okay, what part is wrong?
The whole damn thing. There's no Bring Your Bible to School Day, period, when you're in a public school.
Well, yes, there is.
Unless it's after school.
Well, kids can bring their Bible to school every single day.
As long as
they don't interrupt the school day.
Okay. Well,
okay.
I knew they can, do stuff before and after school and all that.
Right.
Jazz.
So,
and you cannot have any adults that are involved with it.
That's my issue. We have the governor saying, bring your Bible.
Okay, so two things. An adult in power, and an adult in government who should know better for separation of church and state in the first place.
Yep. He does get one thing right.
Okay.
So he says, this is absolutely your right to do this, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
No one is telling them they can't bring the Bible.
Right, and no one's actually told kids that they can't...
Or no one should be telling kids that they can't bring their Bible.
I don't actually ever really hear of any school telling them that they can't bring a Bible to school, or as long as they're not like having an adult stand with them handing out pamphlets in the hallway at school.
That's a violation.
Thing. Right, that's what I'm saying.
Or so long as they're not proselytizing during class time.
Right.
Right? They can read it all they want.
Nobody can stop you from reading any book.
Exactly, unless it's interrupting your studies.
Well, that's you're getting in trouble because you're not paying attention in class.
If you're supposed to be reading your history book and you're reading
comic
Genesis
books
instead, that's a problem.
Yeah, or reading comic books or something.
Thing. Yeah, as long as
to me, they're no different.
Yeah, comic books, Genesis, all the same.
Yeah.
He then went on to say, you look at all the division, all the vitriol, and the animosity is striking us in this nation, and how fragmented people are. If we follow biblical principles like treating others as you would want to be treated, loving your neighbor like yourself, simple stuff, then this is the kind of thing we should celebrate.
I have a question.
What's that?
I don't really remember reading the Bible much because I was younger and I could care less right now. But when did it say that in the Bible?
Jesus said those things.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. But that kind of ignores the entire rest of the Bible.
Well, that was what I remember.
The entire first half
as a
was
kid.
about killing other nations.
I just remember it was, being Catholic, nothing you did was good enough no matter what you did. And they would always tell you the pretty stuff. And then, us kids would always kind of skip around and look for all the hot stuff is what we'd say.
Yeah, it's got its own
all kinds
porno
of
section.
Fun stuff. Well, it wasn't even just that. Just
the Song of Solomon's pretty rough.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I was also, besides that, of course, but also all the death and gruel. And...
Which it was loaded with.
Exactly, I know. That's what
I'm
saying.
So I don't think biblical principles are all that great. I mean, should we kill someone for picking up sticks on Sabbath?
Well, and I have a question. Why their book? Why aren't we referencing a different book?
Why not my book? If I had one. I'll write one.
The Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Yeah, the Gospel of Flying Spaghetti Monster, somewhere in one of my bookshelves or book boxes.
Actually, I think it's in the...
Tanner.
No, I have it. It's in the box with my other books.
Okay.
But anyways, that's what I'm saying. I mean, who's to say what book we're referring to? But they always act like, you're forcing kids not to be able to do things that are already allowed to be done.
Right. Well, this isn't the first time Bevan has used this platform to talk about religion. Mm-hmm. In September 2016, Bevan declared a statewide day of prayer over students for See You at the Pole Day, where students gathered at the flagpole in front of the school to pray. Yeah. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
We talked about that last year.
Yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar. Yep.
Yeah. Bevan also declared both 2017 and 2016 the year of the Bible and has encouraged walking prayer groups to help curb gun violence in West Louisville, which we talked about that as well.
That's a weird thing to group together.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of violence in the city, and he said what we need is more people walking around praying, and then the religious community said, no, what we need is more cops. Weird. That's basically what happened.
Right.
But he is not a winner just because he is a theocrat. Not even close.
I would say that's not how you get Potter.
No. In September, she suggested that the home academic programs on Kentucky college campuses have outlived, that he suggests that some academic programs on Kentucky college campuses have outlived their necessity in times of tight state budgets. I can almost agree with that.
Yeah.
With a pointed jab at job prospects of interpretive dancers, the Republican governor challenged public university boards and presidents to consider eliminating some courses that don't produce graduates filling high-wage, high-demand jobs. Basically, he's saying cut the arts.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He's talking about cutting the arts, but yet not everyone's desire is to always have a high-wage, high-paying, well, that was retarded, high-wage, high-demand kind of a position,
Right.
Some CEO up in an office kind of thing. That's not everyone's dream.
Right.
And living here in Western Washington, the schools, however, seem to think, or at least the school my kids are at, are thinking your eye should only be focused on making the top dollar at the highest office spot you can get to. And, God forbid you should have any other ideas. And in my opinion, I've told my children time and time again, it's not about how much you make. It's about how much you like your job, because your whole life is going to be working. And if you're going to spend your whole life working, then make it something you really like or you actually love. And that's what matters, not the damn money.
Exactly.
And I just have a big pet peeve about that.
Well, in a tweet, he said, if you're studying interpretive dance, God bless you, but there's not a lot of jobs right now in America looking for people with that skill set.
And yet, what is one of the biggest demands on jobs right now are the trade jobs. Because we have so many stupid office jobs that they're starting to find out that they're running out of people with trade schooling to be able to fill those positions. So now it's kind of flip-flopping, and there's a higher demand for trade workers.
Right. Well, here's the problem with his thing against the arts degrees.
Yeah, he just doesn't like the arts in general.
Well, a lot of those folks don't get a job in the arts, right? They have an arts degree. They end up being teachers. They end up being, working in offices, because so many offices just require a degree, right? Mm-hmm. Right? They don't just go and be an interpretive dancer. They end up being something else, but they use that degree that they got with something they enjoyed doing,
right,
to move on to the next thing.
But also, you do get the ones, I mean, you don't have to be on Broadway to have, you know, to be considered, you know, a dancer or whatever. Every community has their theater, whether it's a large or a small or what have you.
Right. Even if
and then
you
there's
take
so
that
many
degree,
other aspects to the art. So
right. Even if you take that degree and you teach kids how to do that, that's using your degree.
Right. Let's say
regardless of what job you have.
So, you know, the person that has a dance studio in town that teaches all the kids.
Exactly.
You know, it's something they like, and yet
the arts are necessary. Period.
Absolutely. What was that thing that you showed me the other day on Facebook or something? It was, I don't know, it was something so funny, and the quote was like, "This is why we need the arts," or something. It was something really
it was
stupid.
a stupid-ass math question.
Yeah, it was a math. Oh, God, that was so funny.
Oh, my God. It was, if 120 musicians takes 40 minutes to play Beethoven's Ninth, how long would it take 60 musicians to play that?
And people don't get that. I mean, how
That's not a math question.
It's not.
And that's why we need the arts.
I mean,
because somebody came up with that question.
I am not a smart person whatsoever, and I'm not doing the formula I should be doing because we can't afford it right now. So I'm like super dumb right now, and even I got that right off the bat. That's pretty damn sad.
Well, sadly, this is not the first time Bevan has urged states, colleges, and universities to refine course offerings to create more graduates and jobs, quote, that matter.
See, that's just the thing. It's their opinion of what matters.
Yeah. He said educators from middle school on up need to do a better job of steering students towards high-demand jobs.
Oh.
They need to stop perpetuating, quote, this idea that simply going to college is enough. A college degree isn't sufficient if students aren't studying, quote, the right things.
So wait a minute, I have a question. So I'm confused on that, because usually when they want you to only focus on getting high-demand jobs, that's a college train that they want you on.
Right.
So what is he saying?
He's saying
with that
just any college degree won't do. You have to study.
He wants you to get the high end, the Ivy League college degree.
So I think this has to do more with Kentucky putting out more high end people than it is about a hatred of the arts. It could be a hatred of the arts. I'm not sure.
No, but I can see what you mean. So that they look better. It's kind of like a school that has better testing scores that come out look better. Yeah. And it's kind of the same concept. The more, high end people that come out of this place makes them look better.
Yeah.
But I am so tired of everyone thinking everybody needs to make that high end, high paying job kind of thing.
Yeah, not everybody has to have a master's degree.
Well, not everybody has to pursue the top of whatever company.
Right.
I mean,
you have to have the people who are willing to do the dirty jobs.
Well, that's what I was going to say. People...
Not to say people with college degrees don't do dirty jobs.
No, it depends on what your job is.
Exactly.
But, I mean, some people enjoy doing something that doesn't make a buttload of money. And they could, it's what they enjoy, so what does it matter?
Right. But
anyways.
Even all this doesn't make him worthy of the award.
Okay.
On May 26, 2017, an ethics complaint was filed against Bevan by Common Cause Kentucky chairman Robert, I don't even know his last name.
Uh-huh.
This was followed on June 5th, 2017, complaint by State Representative Darrell Owens. The complaint alleges that the governor took advantage of his office for personal gain when he purchased a mansion in Anchorage, Kentucky.
Okay.
So the mansion and surrounding 19-acre property had been valued at $2.2 million following a February 2016 appeal to the Anchorage Board of Tax Supervisors by the previous resident, Neil Ramsey.
Okay.
Remember that name.
Okay.
The house was listed for sale along with 10 of the 19 acres of February 27 with a $1.6 million asking price.
Okay.
On March 9th, the structure and the 10 acres were sold for $1.6 million to the Anchorage LLC, the limited liability corporation owned by Ramsey, to Anchorage Place LLC, a limited liability corporation owned by Bevan.
Uh-huh.
Since 2015, Ramsey had given $4,000 to Bevan's gubernatorial campaign, $15,000 to his inaugural fund, and $22,500 to State Republican Party. Then Bevan appointed Ramsey to the Kentucky Retirement Systems Board in June of 2016.
Okay.
The complaint said the valuation of the property had been downgraded in order for Bevan to save money in purchasing it.
Oh, okay.
And they're saying due to the ties of Ramsey Bevan, the two had arranged to sell the property at below market value. In response, Bevan asserted that 1.6 was fair and the assessment of the property value was not accurate.
Okay, so for slower people, translate that for me.
He's saying that...
the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. The owner of the property, the previous owner...
Right.
sold the property for less than its actual value,
Right.
in return for favors.
Okay, that's kind of what I got.
In return for donating to the campaign fund,
Right.
and giving him a job in the government.
Okay, that's what I got out of
Okay,
it.
got it.
Okay.
But that's not really what got him the award.
Okay.
This is it. For years, the Kentucky Employees Pension Fund had been one of the worst managed funds in all the states. The year he was elected, the pensions overseen by Kentucky Retirement Systems had just 37% of the money required to pay current and future retirees. The largest of the three funds, Kentucky Employee Retirement System, which covers virtually all state employees except teachers, legislatures, judges, and state police, had only enough money to cover 17%.
Yeah.
It had been relying heavily on investments in hedge funds to attempt to shore up those losses. Bevin campaigned in 2016 to improve the system and ensure its future. So far, he hasn't. Despite the Republican Party being in total control of Kentucky state government for the first time in nearly a century, the actual policy changes Bevin has implemented or overseen have mainly ended up supporting the system's status quo. Some legislatures are raising concerns that state officials, including Bevin himself, could benefit financially from the system.
Oh, duh.
Under Bevin's watch, the pension fund has continued to rely on these alternative investments. In fact, Bevin fired the sitting manager of retirement systems and hired hedge fund manager Neil Ramsey.
That's convenient.
Yeah, the guy from the real estate deal.
Right.
Kentucky Retirement System didn't just continue to invest in hedge funds. It intensified its commitment. In May of 2016, the board dumped $300 million more into 4 new hedge funds and increased its investment in another hedge fund created by Kentucky by KKR Prisma that itself invests in hedge funds. The biggest issue is that the hedge funds did not have to disclose the fees they gained for managing the funds.
You know, the whole time you're reading it, it's sounding like the Trump administration to me.
Yeah. Well, the legislature tried to make this sort of a deal more difficult by creating a bill that that would require all fees and cost of investments be transparent. But it failed to pass along with a similar amendment on the budget bill.
Yeah.
Some Kentucky lawmakers wondered whether Bevin had been involved in the watering down of these bills.
You think?
He probably wouldn't have signed them anyway.
Yeah.
Because there's no transparency, the Kentucky pension system could be investing in hedge funds owned or operated by General Assembly members, people on the pension system's board, or even the governor himself. There could be people that could actually vote to enrich themselves on our current retirement board.
Yeah, obviously.
So what bothers me here is that there's no transparency in how much it's cost the state to manage these hedge funds, for one. So these hedge fund managers are probably getting super rich on this, right? Mm-hmm. And
more
the city's not getting anything in return. They're even worse off than they were before.
That's what I was thinking.
And it seems to me, and this is just conjecture, that there are those in the government that are making a ton of money off this.
That's
obviously
probably pretty obvious, truly.
I don't know. But it's stuff like this that make this guy...
Right. In it for themselves. Don't care who they're hurting to do it.
He doesn't care. He never has cared.
No.
Right? He makes shady deals.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't fix what the problem he said he was going to fix. He made it worse.
I hate to bring everything back to Trump, but all I'm hearing in my head is Trump, Trump, Trump.
Well, this guy's a Trump supporter, if I remember right.
That's just what I'm hearing in my head, you know?
Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, no, that's why Potter winners are who they are. They just are in it for themselves, benefit themselves any way they can, don't give 2 flying flips who they're hurting to run over to do it.
Exactly, and that's why we have the Potter Award, is to expose these people and let people know, because not everyone wants to follow the Kentucky governor.
Right, and you know, my mom's old saying is, row faster, slaves, I want a water ski.
That's pretty much what this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I think that's all the yakking I got.
Yeah, I think you're out of air now.
Yeah.
We always like to hear your feedback, so leave us a voicemail at 704-802-YAKK or an email at podcast@secularyakking.com.
More input.
All comments are welcome. We like to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. You also can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+.
If you like our show, head over to your podcast directory of choice and leave us a 5-star review. If you really like the show, support the show on our Patreon page.
I'd buy that for $1.
And we'll be back next week with more yakking to please your eardrums.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
would take him.
Bye-bye.